14. Hello, everyone. This is PnC Dynasty here, episode 14. I'm with Derek, Smith, and Badger. We got the whole crew today to go over week 4, all the matchups, who we're looking to start, who we think is not going to do well, who is going to do well, and who will out-project their projections to help you decide on who to start on your team. First, we're going to get into our sponsors in quotation marks. I guess Smith or Badger, if you want to hit it up.
Yep. First one, gemlinesports.com. I post my plays. I have a 2-point play up there this week again, and then a 1-point play, but you can purchase the NFL and college football season newsletter through gemlinesports.com. 7 cappers on there. The other one, Better Fantasy. Vin and I have been working with them for a while now, and today was the day they finally went public on the App Store. Our league is on there. If you're on Sleeper, your league should be on there. You can go on. It's free to download, free to play. You can do player props. There's daily challenges to get better credits. And then you can bet on not just your matchup, but the league's matchup. They have team props as well, overs and unders. Who's going to score the most points? Who's going to score the least amount of points? So make sure you download Better Fantasy. Vin will put a referral code in the Twitch stream for you to sign up as well.
Yep. And also, if you have a rival and you don't like him in the league, you could bet against him. And that's pretty cool. Because I'm betting against
Smith betting against Leo every week.
Exactly. Which could probably be positive points.
That's the easiest money I'll make. Easiest better bucks I'll make.
And the more money you make, I'm pretty sure the more money will get donated to charities. That the players,
so
that the
you
NFL
get to
players
root
have,
against your mortal enemy and help a charity. I mean,
or
in priority, it would probably be just like
bet on yourself,
enemy, and then the charity. Like the charity's secondary at that point. So always got to beat your opponent.
So find that bum in your league and hammer the under.
And let me tell you, we got plenty of those bums in this league.
Which we'll be getting into. So yesterday we talked about news. We've talked about waiver pickups, and today not so much news. Basically the same as yesterday. So if you didn't listen to that or watch it, go ahead. But really, no really true news going on. We're still just waiting on Julio Jones. Slight news, just iffy, but that's just questionable. We'll see what goes on with Tennessee over there, as they don't have any pass catchers besides Derrick Henry because he has more receptions than Kamara. But getting straight into the matchups, which are on the screen here, we're going to look into Derrick's matchup against Dan, who is one of the lower scoring teams in our league. However, he is not in last place. So, Derek, if you'd like to go over your matchup, kind of go over who you're excited for on either side and what you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm delighted at this matchup. Everybody gets Dan at least once, and he's going to help me, keep rolling on to start the season.
You hope.
So
Not last week. He would have beat almost half the league last
week. He would have beat you.
That's true. I'm sitting at 4-2, would be 5-1 if it weren't for my misjudgment on pulling Tucker in week 1. I think Dan is gonna give me back that win because this is gonna be a free win, and then I just need to worry about scoring some points, which my team has been really good at so far. 2 weeks of the first 3 weeks, I've hit that median win, so that's really what I'm excited for this week is just putting some points on the board and getting over the median because I'm not worried about Dan. But matchup wise, I absolutely smoke him down the entire roster except for quarterback. I'm starting Matt Ryan this week. I don't think Washington has it in him right now. and I want to kind of roll the dice with the Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts connection, and
You just won't give that up.
hopefully, hopefully it gets me a nice Matt Ryan trade later in the week or something like that.
Let's not get ahead.
Who's trading for Matt Ryan?
If you trade for Matt
No.
Ryan,
Who's trading
You're
for
gonna be
Matt
dropping
Ryan?
you
bro?
fall
2 years.
below Leo and Pete in my.
I'm pretty sure the only person that has a worse quarterback than Matt Ryan, which is kind of iffy, is almost even, would be Parker with Teddy Bridgewater, and I think that's like almost even at this point. So technically, you
Teddy
really
Bridgewater over
don't,
Matt.
you really
Ryan.
don't have a trade partner.
If there's 1 week where I can start him and not be scared and just hope that some sort of value comes out of it, it's this week. So starting Matt Ryan just to hope
I think you're gonna be surprised with that.
that KP gets that first TD, and then my running backs destroy.
Derek,
his
I just
running
have a
backs.
question on Matt Ryan over Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Like, why? Do you not think that Minnesota-Cleveland's going to be a shootout? Minnesota has the worst completion percentage at almost 76%. They're giving up to quarterbacks. So what I guess is the overall philosophy for Matt Ryan over Baker Mayfield this week?
Well,
Because he can.
pass attempts and air yards are Matt Ryan's thing. So, I guess it's not set in stone. You make a compelling point, but I do like the matchup just because Washington, has been pretty poor this year in terms of covering the pass. And, not that this gets Matt Ryan any extra points, but, covering tight ends is not exactly their forte as well. They have a good secondary, but, over the middle of the field, I think there should be a lot of opportunity. So obviously Kyle Pitts is a must start for me at least. And I just kind of want to see, what Matt Ryan can do. I want to, revive him in my eyes. And this is more of I know I can beat Dan, and I'm taking the chance on Matty Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down and watch that Falcons game real close, and just enjoy that connection.
Buddy,
Sometimes fantasy isn't all about a heartless quest for a few extra points. I want to see that connection.
Cool.
Buddy, you better beat Dan with all this talk. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to be cocky so that Dan feels bad and maybe trades me one of his players.
Oh no!
Here we
I
go
want
again.
to really crush.
Shoot first for Miles
really-
Sanders incoming.
I want to
God.
really crush his spirit.
God dang it! I knew it.
Who knows?
I knew it.
Who knows? Who knows if he's down on Justin Herbert after
Oh God,
bad
no,
week.
no, Dan.
This is
Dan,
a week where
I know
can.
Dan don't listen to this, but Dan, please
Buddy,
listen to
this
this.
He
is
turned down
where
Aaron
I
Rodgers in a
can-
first.
I'm
He
texting
turned
him.
down Aaron Rodgers in a first for Herbert.
What? I would too.
You sure?
Yes, if I had Herbert, I'm turning down Aaron Rodgers in a first in a 1 QB dynasty league. Yes, I'm doing that. Are you kidding me? We're not getting into that. We're not.
Whatever. Like, it can't. And my point is, it can't be worse
Badger. You
than
see,
what Derek
Smith
offered.
is trying to be a snake right now. We need to keep this league in check. All right. Continue
So
on with
it's-
this matchup.
Me?
To the next
Oh my
players.
God. All right, whatever.
Continue
Anyway,
on.
I'm very much just having fun this week.
Yes.
I don't think Matt Ryan versus Baker Mayfield is going to be the difference between me getting the points for median and missing it. So I'm trying to have fun and really toy with Dan, crush his spirit, and maybe buy low on one of his wide receivers or a quarterback. And like I said, moving down the line, I just crush him. I mean, you can make a case for Kareem Hunt versus Miles Sanders because Sanders apparently carries the ball 2 times in a game.
Yep.
That's happening. So definitely But yeah, let me just stop on Miles Sanders, and that's really who I'm going to talk about because Miles Sanders for me, is one of the fun backs to watch in the league. He can totally just break one, and that's always exciting. However, Nick Sirianni comes in and just totally ruins his stock during the offseason. Really not able to trade him for any sort of good value. So he was definitely a hold going into the season. But I did really believe in his potential with Sirianni. If he were to break out in the sense on the team and just really show why he should be on the field twice as much as Kenny Gainwell or any other running back they have, that Sirianni would put that into effect. And he just absolutely has not so far. But, he had a flash play that I thought this could be pure hopium, but I hope that Sirianni watches that play and is like, if I give this guy the ball 20 times a game and don't make Jalen Hurts throw it 45 times a game, then maybe he breaks a run. Oh yeah, let me watch his tape from last year where that's all he did all season was break runs because we gave him a decent volume. He's behind a better offensive line or more healthy offensive line than last year. And that's my guy. So I'm really hoping that he picks it up, or really Sirianni picks it up, because Sanders has looked good so far. He's catching most of his targets, and he just has to boss up on Kenny Gainwell, or else who knows where he ends up in this league. But it won't be on my team if
won't be on mine either.
If he continues this way for the next 2 weeks, he won't be on my team.
Yeah.
But
are you 50-piecing Dan?
I think I'm projected to. Yeah, I'm projected to 40,
40.
almost
30.
50 piecing.
Yeah, 30.
So,
38.
am I 50 piecing Dan? Absolutely. There's absolutely no doubt.
Do you think Dan puts up his projected points?
Mark,
I think I might 70 piece him.
Timestamp it. It's time. All right. What's the timestamp on this one?
No, I could put a clip on it. Don't worry.
Put a clip on it, please.
I don't think Dan gets
Danielson.
projections for two reasons.
I think I can put
One,
a clip. I don't know.
Mark Ingram, they finally lowered his projections to be more realistic. I still don't see him getting to 7 points. And Juju is hurt, so I don't think he's getting to 13. So I don't think Dan's going to.
Juju is hurt.
It's gonna be.
This is a 50 piece. I can't wait.
It's just gonna be
Cheers,
on fire.
Dan.
GG's. All right. On to the next
And
one.
might as well put Michael Carter in for Mark Ingram at this point.
On to the next matchup. We do have Leo versus Pete, which is a matchup between teams that Smith hates, a matchup between two teams that don't really value picks that much and just kind of throw picks out there for guys that they think they need when really they just go down in the dump. And it's going to be probably one of the closer matchups. Actually, I think all the matchups are going to be close besides Derek and Dan's matchup. However, this is going to be one of the close ones that we're going to be watching. And we're all going to be talking about this. So starting off with the quarterback, I'm just going to lead it, kind of start off with you guys. I think it's pretty even in this situation. I mean, Russell Wilson does need to have a good game. I feel like he usually does have a good game against the 49ers because that's just a rival. But Arizona and Kyler Murray is going to have to continue to go off in order to keep up with such a high-powered team with the Rams. But this could be a game where Kyler shits the bed and Russell Wilson just rips apart San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about Kyler this week. I think it kind of hinges on DeAndre Hopkins again, and if they actually want to use Rondale more. More so, because last week he was non-existent, it appeared. I'm just, like, the Rams D is pretty legit,
yes,
I would say. Brady did put up an absurd amount of yards against him, but I'm just a little worried overall on Kyler and, is he going to throw the ball to AJ Green? exploring more, or what's going to be the situation?
Yeah,
really,
I
with
think
that?
probably 90 of those yards came from dump offs to Geo, right?
I think Gio got a
Yeah.
lot of
Yes.
these. So that
And
means
target Geo.
I guess Chase Edmonds, right? I mean, yeah, Chase Edmonds, James Conner, they both kind of suck at catching. Maybe Chase Edmonds has the better.
Chase Edmonds is actually like a top 5 receiving back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I guess we'll find that
Chase
out.
Edmonds is
Chase Edmonds,
So
He's a
moving
beast.
forward,
gosh.
Chase Edmonds not on any of these
bad
teams.
take.
Running backs, I mean, both are jokes besides Montgomery at this point. Montgomery's probably going to outscore both Mike Davis and Zach Moss combined in this matchup, in my opinion, due to Detroit versus Chicago.
Possible.
So I really do think Montgomery kind of outscores both Mike Davis and Zach Moss combined. Unless you guys have any other takes between those, I think we can move on to the wide receivers.
Mike Davis is like top 5 in targets amongst RBs, even though we want Cordero Patterson to happen.
Pretty
I think
sure
it is.
Cordell Patterson will be, yeah.
I mean,
But,
I don't
you
know
know-
if Montgomery will outscore combined Davis and Moss, because Moss has that touchdown ability, especially against Houston. But clear advantage for Leo in the running back game, I think. Hines has been, we were talking about before we went live here, he's been the RB1 virtually in Indy, so I think that he continues to build on that too.
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It could be a good start for him to plug in.
The difference
in the
between the RB10 and RB11 group, Leo and Pete, is significant, and then Dan's even more significant after that.
Moving on to the wide receivers for this team, I would say they're pretty much in favor of Leo just because he has Calvin Ridley. However, Cole Beasley could easily put up 20 points against Houston, but I don't see Robbie Anderson doing anything against the Dallas defense. But I also do think Pittman could have a good game. So really, at this point, it really comes down... all right, sorry, I just realized this. I was looking for...
You gotta look at the
Pete's-
flex.
I was looking for Pete's wide receivers, and I was like, where the fuck are they? He's got him in his flex. I think he's just trolling Leo at this point.
What time is their kickoff?
I guess we'll figure that out. Yeah, I don't know. But DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson will probably outscore all four of Leo's wide receivers. Maybe this week, depending
Not
on
if
how.
Hopkins is not 100%.
Yeah, and he has
know.
Ramsey on him, so that would definitely be interesting to see. But I think, if Hopkins is not 100% and you have Justin Jefferson against Calvin Ridley, I do think the other wide receivers are in favor in Leo. But it really comes down to the tight end, and Darren Waller is probably going to destroy Gesicki.
Corey Davis against Tennessee is kind of interesting because they've shown no ability to really shut down a receiver to this point.
Yeah, I actually
And,
think that could. Oh, sorry.
It could be like a not terrible game for the Jets if they can just if Zach Wilson can just get the ball out of his hands. You know,
I was going to
And the
agree with you.
PPR machine comes back this week in James Crowder.
right? I don't know. Has that ship sailed?
Maybe. I
Listen,
think the Jets have a chance against Tennessee.
I do too. I don't think it's like out of the question that this is a close game.
If
closer than
Julio
people
doesn't
think.
play, if Julio does not play, and A.J. Brown and both Julio Jones are out,
Josh Reynolds, wide receiver 1.
Derrick Henry will be the wide receiver 1.
I don't know.
I
I keep thinking to myself, this is the week that they start to manage that workload. Jeremy McNichols looked pretty good.
Were you thinking that last week? The last week. Were you thinking that last year?
Yeah.
Were you thinking about last
that's
year
what
too,
I keep
though?
going to. Is yeah. But at some point, this has to stop, right?
I don't know. It didn't stop last year, so I guess we'll see. Right. I think this matchup is close. I also think I did say before that Gesicki versus Waller will be kind of very wide, or a huge difference. But if Brissett starts, I think Gesicki could be maybe 5 to 10 points behind Waller. It won't be a huge difference. I don't think it would be
Waller
a major
absolutely destroyed the Chargers last time they played, and I think Derwin James is out.
I don't know.
Say that again.
Look it up.
Who?
Yeah,
Derwin
last time they
James.
played 34.5 points in our league. Gesicki, he's pretty relevant with Brissett, and especially if there's no Will Fuller this week. But I mean, 12 targets is going to be kind of hard to eclipse. I would think that Gesicki will probably.
I think
Seven,
Tim
eight
Patrick
targets.
is the ultimate mousetrap for this week. That just seems like a mistake.
I don't know. I think he can get 15. I think he can hit his projections, if not break it. I'll be
Well,
honest.
I
with you.
guess-
I'm not there.
All right.
I need to see what his bench looks like, but
Yeah.
just doesn't
I mean, with this matchup, what are you guys thinking? I feel like Leo pulls away with, I guess, considered to be an upset according to projections.
It looks like the only one in our spreadsheet who has Peter is Derek. So, Derek, just give us a quick snapshot before we move on here as to why you're picking Pete over Leo.
Sure. So, Darren Waller's the key, and Murray playing the Rams is huge for Pete. So, if Hopkins were to be out, I think I would change my pick, just because one of Pete's, dynamite weapons is out, but I just think he has 3 compared to 1 skill players that could, totally go off and, score over 25 points. So adding in Cole Beasley, as Vinny said, going against Houston, Josh Allen's seam and his seam target. I don't know. I'm just not seeing the spark in Leo's team this week. I mean, his running backs aren't doing bad. He's got Kyler, but with a tough matchup and the bottom of his starting roster, Tunyon, Patrick, and Gesicki, I mean, they're just really uninspiring. And as long as Robbie Anderson doesn't have another dud, and I don't know, I feel like as long as his pass catchers, Pete's pass catchers, kind of produce more than half of what they're capable of producing, I think Leo is going to have enough duds on his team to sink his ship.
I would like to see that. But I guess we will find out. I don't think, yeah.
We have a viewer question, just
Oh.
really quick.
it's actually
Ryan Kelly wants to know what's up with the big glob of pee coming out of Derek's wall.
Shit. Derek, your wall is pissing right now.
That's a what are they called?
What are they called? You own it.
Sunset lamp. It's a sunset lamp.
Where's the sunset?
sunset. Why is it a sunset lamp?
Wait, you guys never got those ads on Instagram?
Oh, so you feed into the ads.
Or
We know
TikTok?
who to target.
Derek, I'm curious.
Yeah, we
just,
know,
like,
we
the
know.
thought process.
We know the target.
Like, where did you go into a store and see that and just
No,
yeah,
he
that
literally
looks really good.
just said it was on TikTok.
Oh my god.
I'm enjoying the roast, but Alexis bought this. I had no say. I didn't even know this thing was coming
All
to my
right.
apartment.
we love Alexis, but Alexis, come on.
Hey, she knows what she's doing.
Nice.
Moving on to the next matchup, Smith is up against Parker, who is currently in last place. That's Parker. Parker is last place. However, Parker does have more points for than Smith. So this is going to be an interesting matchup.
That he does.
Huge matchup.
It's actually going to be a huge matchup because if Parker can win this matchup, he will most likely be out of last place at this point. He definitely needs to get a points for median win. That's huge for him. And it's also a big matchup for Smith because if Smith loses and goes 0-2 again, he possibly could be in last place. and
I think
go ahead.
I think we're looking at one win between the two teams. I don't think either of them is getting over the points for it. I mean, Smith
I
might
agree.
because
I agree
his
with that.
players are.
Your take. Are you
Smith's-
Can you get the points for this week?
Well, Badger, I think you actually put me as one of the teams that gets past the median. So,
I don't think he
yeah, it's close. I actually do like. I don't know. If Deontay plays, I think I win. If Deontay doesn't play, I don't think I win. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but let me explain. Jair Alexander, I think, is the X factor. And if Deontay plays, my assumption is that Jair will play against Deontay, and then Stokes will match up against Claypool. At that point, Claypool will dominate.
If
So
Ben can stay on his feet.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I mean, I'm buying Ayuk this week because I think San Francisco is going to be a shootout. I really do. I don't think San Francisco can afford to run the ball against Seattle because San Francisco's secondary is a joke. I mean, their front seven is okay. It's pretty good. But their secondary is not good. And I think, this is the perfect situation for a breakout for Ayuk. So I'm betting big on him, frankly. And I think Rondale Moore, I know you guys say you're concerned about the Rams and Cardinals, but this has everything in the making to be a shootout as well, right? You've got two elite offenses going up against each other. At that point, to me, the defenses are secondary in terms of importance. And Rondale Moore is the guy in the slot there. They've decided that Christian Kirk is better to be mixed and matched between the slot and the perimeter, and that's probably where he should be, frankly. I personally think my quarterback is a lot better. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's in terms of talent, still a top 5 quarterback in the game. And then you've got Mixon and Swift. I mean, Swift is the RB2 this year. And Mixon going up against Jacksonville, who's just been a joke against the run.
Bounce back.
I think that's, a huge advantage for me personally. And then the flexes, I think, are also a big advantage. I mean, Cordero Patterson, I don't know how he's going to do. This game screams low scoring. Slow paced. I don't think it's the kind of shootout that Derek's hoping for. That's why I think that game is a lot closer and he should be a lot more humble about that matchup. But Cortland Sutton against the Ravens is very interesting to me because I think in a way that could be a high scoring affair, in a way that we're not really expecting it to be. So I think, that has potential to be a big game for him. So, and then I think ultimately it comes down to tight ends, Hawkinson versus Kittle. And I've said it before, I think Hawkinson's better than Kittle this year. The matchup for this week, however, I think might actually go to Kittle. So I'm going to say that I win this matchup, but that's probably just me being a little biased. But it's going to be razor thin, in my opinion.
I agree. I think it's going to be razor thin. And you said 49ers front seven is okay? Is that what you were saying? They're just kind of weak?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good, but their secondary is a real problem. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Before we move on to the next matchup, if you are done, do you think it's going to be close? Obviously, you think yourself is going to win, but do you think it's are you thinking less than 5 points margin?
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to go with a bit of a hot take. I think both Parker and I finish above the median this week, and
Wow.
I think I win by less than 5 points.
Less than 5 points, and who's going to be the advantage there? Aaron Rodgers, probably, right? Or Koo.
I think Mixon and Swift
All right.
is the difference.
Cool.
I think it might be Koo.
Who? Oh my gosh,
I think
that would be so funny.
I think Koo could actually do that too. We do have 2 comments on our YouTube real quick. So one is a question. They are saying, what are you guys' thoughts on Teddy Bridgewater? I'm comfortable starting him, but comparing him against Baker Mayfield. So for me, I personally think Baker Mayfield does have a better game fantasy-wise against Teddy Bridgewater. But obviously I'll leave you guys up. I don't really do any analytics. I just say what I think. So
Close.
I'm thinking Baker Mayfield has a better.
Yeah, for me, it's close as well. I'd probably lean more towards Baker, though, just for the points that I brought up earlier. Minnesota, 76% completion percentage. They're giving up touchdowns virtually one of the worst in the league as well at 6.3%, 10.1 yards per attempt. So I would lean towards Baker Mayfield, and I just think that overall he's better than Teddy this week.
I would agree. Yep. I keep saying that we want to target shootouts. That's the way to win. Mm-hmm. That's how you win in DFS. That's how you win in matchups. And the other thing, too, that's really encouraging is despite the low volume, Baker Mayfield has been a highly efficient quarterback, kind of in the Ryan Tannehill from last year mold, where the reps aren't there, but the efficiency is. So, yeah, I'm 100% on board, especially with a healthy-looking OBJ and Kareem Hunt, who can also catch things out of the backfield. Like, they're going to use their backfield, but they just might use it a little bit differently to complement, a higher scoring affair. Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing that could come back to bite us is we've seen it time and time again. They may just want to run the football so that way they don't give Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook all those opportunities to score on them. So there's also that possibility as well. But I think regardless, Bridgewater's matchup isn't ideal. Probably Baker. And it might be a little bit bigger of a margin than you might think.
Yeah. And then the second sorry, Derek.
I was going to say, I think it's really a toss-up. Honestly, with Baker with OBJ being back, but Landry being out, and Odell having a little scare there last week. I don't know if I would take Baker over Bridgewater. I think I'd have to really think about it. But
you're saying that because you're starting Matt Ryan this week.
Nah. I think in a snap decision you go with Baker, but Bridgewater's been the better fantasy quarterback so far.
Fantasy stats are inflated because he's played awful defenses.
He's played really bad teams. So I would say that's the tiebreaker right there.
Yeah.
Go with Baker.
Yeah, and Sahil Just Combat is saying, thanks, fellas. Baker's going to be the starter this week. So good luck. I hope we're right, and I hope we do you. But hey, anything can happen. We also did have a second comment from Chad. He said, Niners from 7 just okay, ? Meth is a terrible drug. Smith, you must be on drugs, according to Chad. So we're just going to leave
Chad a Niners fan?
Who's this?
Chad.
Niners fan Chad.
That's his name? His name is Niners fans Chad.
I'm kidding.
No, his name is Chad.
I was going to say, that explains everything I need to know. No, so Chad, I mean, did you watch that game against the 49ers? Did you watch the game against the Eagles? The only types of plays that the Eagles had against the 49ers was when Jalen Hurts was able to throw the ball and actually complete it to his wide receivers and tight ends. Quez Watkins, a 91-yard reception. And then you had last week's debacle with Davante Adams, who's admittedly a great option. But at the same time, every team is starting to get that option. Now you've got to deal with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf and arguably as good of a quarterback in Russell Wilson. So you could make the argument that the front seven is good, but if those wide receivers are blowing by the secondary, especially without Josh Norman, who I still think is day to day, right? That's not a situation that's not the kind of defense that you want to start in fantasy or that you think can slow down the Seahawks. So,
well, Chad
get
is
out of
one
here.
of Chad is one of our bigger supporters, so do not say get out
I
of here.
appreciate Chad, but that's a take I cannot support, Chad.
I
Get outta
mean,
here
you.
with that.
So luck to all. All right,
I
let's
was
move on.
We're on to the next matchup that is going to be talked about by the whole crew again. I kind of like how this was set up, 1-1-1. So we got another very good matchup. Haj versus Chris. Haj just putting up, I think, one of the most points last week.
The thing I just want to touch on quick
ahead,
before
please.
we dive into this too.
Do it.
2 weeks in a row, Hodge has had miracle comebacks. Vin, you and I were talking about this yesterday.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, he
Aaron
had like
Jones.
a 2% chance to win. Aaron Jones goes off for 45 points. Last week, he has, I think, 10 or 12% chance to win, according to Sleeper. Zeke. My RB2, Zeke goes off.
Finally.
So
Actually,
unreal by Hodge the past 2 weeks.
Unreal luck and unreal just comebacks and players doing what they need to do. And now he's up against Chris, who only put up like 100 points last week and has guys that should be putting up a lot of points but are also kind of weak right now. And looking at this matchup, I really think Haj has the upper hand. I mean, when it comes to quarterbacks, they both are in great positions to actually explode. So I think the quarterbacks is going to be an interesting, competition in this matchup. And then when it comes to running backs, Haj has the upper hand right away. Nick Chubb really is just letting Kareem Hunt do all the business. And if Nick Chubb doesn't score a touchdown, he really isn't putting up points like he should, being drafted as a first-round running back. So if you guys want to touch up on the wide receivers.
Yeah, I'll speak to the wide receivers. Yeah, I actually I'm high on Chris's team this week, and a big part of that is the wide receivers. So
Perfect segue.
Keenan Allen in a big divisional game. Just a little bit of context. Not that it matters all that much, but it's a huge game for both teams. Fight for first place in the division. Keenan Allen is going to be extremely motivated, and he's got a good connection, obviously, with Herbert. But on top of him, Mr. Stephon Diggs has been quietly waiting to explode, and this is the week I think it happens. Not only are they playing a terrible team, but the Bills are home. So I just think the mojo and swag is going to be off the charts. And Diggs is probably going to catch a touchdown, probably going to go over 100 yards or at least get close. Smith is shaking his head like that's an absurd take. And these are 2 really insanely talented wide receivers going up against good matchups, both highly motivated. And I think both of them probably outscore their projections this week and give Chris the median win. However, like you said, if his running backs don't produce, then his team's going to suffer because he has a very well-rounded team. So it's pretty crucial for him to produce in most positions. But I think the wide receivers this week for Chris is what's going to save him and get him that one win that makes him really upset because he also got a loss.
You're right.
Actually, I'm sorry. No, that's gonna make him realize. I'm totally wrong. That's gonna make him realize that the points for median is beneficial.
And I really hope that happens.
So Derek, you are really off on Diggs because I love the player. I'm not saying he's not great, but this is the exact kind of game I don't want to target if I'm trying to figure out who could be 100-yard touchdown guy. First off, I hate predicting touchdowns because that's a nightmare to predict, especially with only 3 weeks of data. I can't.
Yeah, I'm not using the first 3 weeks of data to make.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Of a good game.
That's what I'm saying. And then also
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But my point is like, it would take a lot of like yards per reception for Diggs to be the kind of player that you think he can be this week. Because this team,
We saw
frankly,
Robbie Anderson do it last week.
I know that.
I mean,
but
not Robbie
that's
Anderson,
DJ
his
Moore.
MO.
DJ
Like
Moore, yeah.
that's Robbie Anderson's game.
DJ Moore.
DJ
DJ
Moore.
Moore. Robbie Anderson is dumpster.
Yeah,
He had like
yeah.
1 point last
He didn't do
Yeah,
anything.
like 1 point, he was awful. But like the thing is, like I think Buffalo's a lot better than Carolina, and like say what you want about Sam Darnold, but he was not the same quarterback when Christian McCaffrey was out of that game. So Buffalo's a lot better. Like let's just state the obvious.
Okay.
Like they're a lot better.
Yeah, where are you going?
And
with
this screams, let's feed the ball to
I'll
Devin Singletary and Zach
I'll concede
Moss.
that. I'll concede that point. And also to help you out even more, they're playing the Chiefs the following week. They don't want to put their best stuff on tape a week before they play the Chiefs.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
Their best. Their game plan week in and week out is to feed Diggs, and that's what they did last year.
But
and
what are you
what
hiding
they're
from
trying
the
to do.
Chiefs at this point, though? You know,
You don't need
like,
to hide from the Chiefs. The Chiefs.
That's
aren't
what I'm
good.
saying. Like, you don't really. I don't know if it's hiding.
I'm just saying
But-
that
Caught that.
what they probably want to avoid doing on offense is have the same exact game plan that they're going to roll into Kansas City with the following week. So I see your point, not only because of the matchup, but because of next week's matchup. I think they're conservative.
Maybe.
However, there's just nobody to cover the wide receivers, and you know if they're smart, they're not gonna. And you know, honestly, the Texans, I heard on a podcast this week are going to be playing all cover 2, so they're really not, because that's what what's his name, Lovie Smith, always plays. So they're not going to be doubling Diggs, bracketing Diggs. They're going to sit back and play zone and, see if they can minimize the damage.
All right.
I think Diggs absolutely thrives because of that, because they're not going to be harping on him and they're going to be trying to get beat as little as possible. Also, last week you saw that obviously they don't need to have Diggs be their number 1 or even number 2 wide receiver to have a really great game through the air. So I don't think that they harp on him, and I think he just absolutely runs free and has a game because he is game plan proof. He's going to get at least 8 to 10 targets. So I think he converts at an extremely high rate and also at a very high, yards per target.
So
rate.
you have Chris in this matchup.
No, I have
you have
Hodge winning.
Okay, but you have him with points for. All right, so I think everyone.
I might
do have Hodge.
switch my pick. I might switch my pick, but
Okay.
I have Hodge winning and I have Chris breaking the.
Also,
median.
Chris has Gerald Everett in his lineup, who just went on the COVID list. So
He'll figure that out.
Chris is. My point is, Chris is in even bigger trouble.
No,
Yeah,
I
without
think
Gerald
Chris,
Everett.
just quickly before we move on here, I think this actually helps Chris because he needed to play Evan Ingram anyways. Giants are going to be without Slayton, going to be without, who else? I forget the other guy's name. Kenny Galladay.
Kenny
Shepard.
Yeah,
Shepard.
Shepard's gone. Slayton's
I
hurt.
think Ingram probably gets 10 targets this game, so I think the COVID issue is going to benefit Chris here a
I
little
think
bit.
you're giving way
I
too
don't wanna-
much credit.
I don't wanna
to
harp on-
the Giants, but
Yeah, I don't want to harp on it because I want to move on, but
yeah.
the Giants cannot stay healthy, and I'm just going to point out that they never have a full lineup of any of their starters on offense. It's kind of weird. But moving on from here, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us do have Hodge winning this matchup, especially coming off a high-powered last week, and I think he's going to
I
have.
think that's why
another
we're all
great-
picking him.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go off again. Moving on, Badger, would you like to go, or do you want to be the last? And how would you like to do that?
You go ahead, then I'll.
Okay, so you want the better matchup to go, not last. Gotcha. Okay. I'm kidding. So I am playing Andy, who is in first place, and
Dun 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 dun.
This is
a
probably
big matchup.
going to be one of the bigger matchups of the week, or the biggest matchup of the week and most important
It's
one.
the biggest matchup pre-game, pre-week.
Yeah. So
easily.
I think it's. I mean, obviously, it's going to be probably a very close matchup or a huge blowout because one of our teams are just not going to go off, or we're both going to go off, and it's going to be an insane matchup. And it really comes down to how my wide receivers play and how his team continues to perform. Because as Cooper Kupp still does Cooper Kupp things, I don't think I have a chance.
Crazy.
And starting 3 Tennessee Titans for me is a question in the air that I have because if Julio Jones obviously doesn't start, James Robinson would be probably plugged in there because I do like his matchup against Cincinnati Bengals. But just overall, I think we can almost match up closely even besides the wide receivers at this point, just because my wide receivers haven't really done much and his have been going off. And my important take, I guess, coming out of this, I beat Andy if Mike Williams and Cooper Kupp slow down, because if they continue to go off, I really don't know if I have a chance unless Dalvin Cook is hurt, but pretty sure he practiced today, so.
Little analysis. Allen Robinson is a bum.
I don't know if it's Allen Robinson that's the bum. I think it's the Bears.
2021 Allen Robinson is a bum.
No. Andy Dalton.
It's not
and
Allen. It's not
rookie. Andy Dalton and
We're talking about
Justin
okay.
Fields
Look,
and the offensive line. It's a combination.
Settle down.
What?
This is a fantasy football podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
A dynasty.
But this is a dynasty. We're a dynasty, though. Where he's not a bum. It's his team.
But
That's
we're
a bum.
talking about our weekly matchups.
Yeah, and he's actually going to have a good matchup against Detroit,
Eric,
and they're
what
going
are
to
you
have to
trying
do
to
well.
say right now?
So
I'm trying to say
You
that
know
I
what?
hate Allen Robinson.
you know what? If
and
Allen
I
Robinson
think he's a-
doesn't put up more than 15 points this week, I will
Trade him to
consider.
me.
I will consider benching him. Yeah.
You already benched him once this year.
No, I haven't.
I mean, yeah, he's only the
Defensive
number.
line.
He's only the number 66
thank you.
wide receiver. There's nothing to worry about.
all my wide receivers are below like 25.
I mean,
Allen Robinson
so-
is still an auto start to me at this point in time.
He
There's
is-
still
will
that
always be
upside there.
auto
He's
start.
still getting the targets. Eventually,
Benching that man so hard this week.
it's gonna click.
Yeah. So, my whole thing is starting Ryan Tannehill over Jalen Hurts. I still don't know if that's the right play yet because against the Jets and no wide receivers, Derrick Henry is going to have everything, so I might as well throw in Jalen Hurts, who is an unreal fantasy quarterback. He gets fantasy
King of
points.
garbage time.
it's so
last week.
frustrating.
He gets fantasy points, and that's what we
Frustrating.
do here is we look for
And
points.
Allen Robinson
So-
doesn't anymore.
Yes.
We should come up with fantasy points for
So-
quarterback based on QB rating.
So,
But-
I mean, in this matchup, a lot of people are probably going to be going against me just because Andy's team is actually filthy when it comes to points for. He's in first place. But I really hope I can pull an upset, I guess. I mean, to me, it's an upset. But to points for, to the projections, I would get upset if I lost. So,
To me, the other scary part, potentially, I think I picked you, Vin, though. But, actually, no, I picked Andy. But the other scary thing, too, is if Amari Cooper actually is Amari Cooper this week and he doesn't put up 5 points. So his wide receivers, as you touched on, can
Are
be
insane. Yeah.
scary.
I agree. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they play this week. If they continue their streak, they probably will. Tom Brady is probably going to throw for 600 billion touchdowns against New England because it's going to be.
How many
it's gonna be
yards
like
does
that.
he need? Do we know?
He needs like 86, but he's going to throw for
Ooh.
like 400 probably. He doesn't care. He's probably going to put up like 40 points on this team, especially losing to the Rams. So, it's going to be a close one. It's going to be one that I'm going to be watching as close as possible, screaming at the TV. So, I guess we'll see that. Badger.
Yes.
On the next matchup, you are up against Ryan, who lost Christian McCaffrey and is now having to play two slight bums in running back. But his wide receivers just absolutely annihilate yours. So bring us through this.
This week is probably going to be pain for me. There's no sugarcoating it, especially with no AJ Brown. Not even like he's performed well this year so far, but it's just the fact that he could potentially go off in the first half against the Jets. And now I have to substitute him with Paris Campbell, which hurts me.
Yes.
As we touched on yesterday, I gave R. Kelly one of my better receivers in Adam Thielen, which from a dynasty perspective, I think made sense for me to get Josh Jacobs in those picks. But I'm going to be hurting this week. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if Saquon's getting these 17 points. We saw how bad he was at running the ball behind that offensive line last week. It was more so the touchdown and the receptions that saved him. I'm going to need a miracle again from Josh Allen. That's going to be the it factor if I have any chance this week, because he has Brandon Cooks, Adam Thielen, the boom potential of Mike Evans, and the revenge game of Gronk. So it is probably going to be a long week for me. I just hope that I don't get 50-pieced at this point. But I did pick myself to win.
Are you doing that because you actually think you're going to win?
I'm doing it because...
Obviously not.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you picked Derek to win week 2 against yourself.
Yeah.
So you're actually betting on yourself.
I think there's a very small chance, but yeah, it's not looking good. It's not. There's no. I have no one to put in at wide receiver.
I'm very curious because this is actually the first week that you're betting for yourself, because last week you bet against yourself and you won.
And I won. The only thing I potentially see here is Mike Evans has what could be a classic Mike Evans game, and he has a dud, and Adam Thielen doesn't get a touchdown. That's the primary thing that I'm seeing here, but you have that Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes that
against
is
Philly.
It's not going to be fair. So I'm holding out hope by picking myself, but
I'm not picking you.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Jeez, okay.
I'm not picking you, Badjo. Sorry to tell you.
Barkley is top 5 running back rest of the year for me, by the way. I love the usage last week. And with that depleted receiver core, this is the perfect opportunity for Barkley to get to that 5 to 10 target area more consistently.
I agree. It's the... I don't know if he's going to get 3 yards a carry against New Orleans.
It just does not matter when you're getting 5 to 10 targets and you're the preferred touchdown option. And Devontae Booker was a coach's decision inactive last week, leaving, I believe, Larry Brightwell, who's probably the least explosive running back in all the NFL, as his only backup. So
that's true, but I mean, it helps my team, but.
Mm-hmm.
And mate, is this the breakout game for Jamanta Williams?
No, but he is going to beat projections, my opinion.
That would go a long way towards Badger beating Ryan.
It would.
The other thing too is he has Melvin Gordon, who I also traded to him. So
yeah, exactly.
That'd be a revenge. That would be a revenge game for Melvin Gordon and Thielen to just put up 30 points against you each, and that would just kind of be funny.
I could see. I mean, I think it's like a 30% chance Badger wins, which might seem a little higher than.
Is that what Sleeper has?
I guess what you guys.
Sleeper has 24, so you're pretty close there.
Yeah, I think it's 30%. I mean, there's absolutely a situation where Mike Evans is not anywhere present. Rob Gronkowski is limited by the linebacker and slot corners within New England, and Adam Thielen is not 100% right now.
And don't talk,
which is
Sorry.
we have to mention that Adam Thielen, I believe, was not practicing today. So there's a chance he's not 100%. So at that point, you have
he rested.
He rested. Okay. So he might be 100% then. But let's say, like, for whatever reason he's not, then Ryan is depending to get max production out of Mahomes, Hill, and Cooks. And, can you expect all three of them to go off?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe. Yes. I mean,
no one else to throw the ball to in Houston.
But he needs it.
Yeah.
Point is that he needs those three guys in order to allow for the potential low floor for each of those guys I mentioned.
Yep. And I do want to touch base on this because not a lot of people talk about it just because his name is Tyreek Hill. He only put up over 10 points once in 3 weeks. For someone of his caliber, he's only put up over 10 points once, and that's week 1.
Is the hammy catching up?
He's not an X receiver. He is not an alpha. He is a Z receiver. He is the best Z receiver in the history of the NFL, but he's not an alpha and he's not an X. So he needs to get wide open, and when you have teams that are forcing Mahomes to target Kelsey and make Kelsey beat them, which I think is the right move, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a defense, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm not only putting Darius Slay, but I'm also getting the safeties to creep in a little bit and try to double coverage Hill and make them force the ball to Kelsey and to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who still stinks.
I'll take it.
And Mecole Hardman.
Of course. Yeah, because that would be great for Derek, especially owning.
Yeah, Kelsey's the best tight end in fantasy still. It's not close.
Yeah, and you'll probably be there for this year at the top, like always. Moving on to our questions of what we're going to go over. The first one is the matchup we're looking forward to the most. Most of us said my matchup with Andy, just because it's very high-powered. However, Derek did have a separate one, so if Derek wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite. It's low-powered. It's a low-powered matchup.
Yeah.
And yeah, not even to be funny, but I mean, it's interesting to see how the season plays out. It always is, and you have Smith versus Parker, which also has huge implications into who's going to end up last. I mean, we'll probably be able to. Yep.
I said no. I said see Smith last. Yeah. I was just touching. Yeah. I was touching base on your last place. And
I hope.
I just wanted to add Smith at the bottom there because I mean,
does Smith even have his 2022 first? Do you have it, Smith?
I do.
Smith has.
I still hope you come in last.
The young boys will be getting younger.
So
Donna.
Dan and Donna, that has a rhythm to it, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can we do? Oh my god! Instead of the Donda chant, can we do Donna?
That's stupid.
And now we are moving forward to the 6 teams that we think will get the points for median. I believe we have a ton of similarities here. However, we do have some differences. A lot of similarities are myself being one of them, Derek being a top scorer, Haj being a top scorer, Andy being a top scorer, Ryan being a top scorer. But our last top scorer, we all have someone different. So, Derek, do you want to say who you have there?
Chris. I think he comes in, probably 5th or 6th.
Okay.
But like I said, I think he's going to be buoyed by Diggs. Even though Smith had his analysis, I'm sticking with my guns. I think Diggs is a menace, against anything that's not brackets or straight up double coverage. So, I think he has a game. I think Keenan Allen has a game. He has one of the most solid running back rooms. So I'm not going to count on them to not score. Lamar Jackson's going to do his thing. Hopefully, for his sake, Evan Ingram has a nice game. You know, that it happens every once in a while. And then Marvin Jones and Jalen Waddle, while not extremely inspiring, you know, could produce. So I think he has a really high floor for this week, and that's why I believe in him.
Badger, who's your shot in the dark, your sixth person?
Smith.
Wow.
But you have Parker beating me.
I changed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Smith's got a chance. I mean, he has the boom potential. I feel like in his team, I mean, Joe Mixon, you got to think he's going to get a pretty good workload against Jacksonville. We've seen DeAndre Swift be top 3 running back. I'm still very high on Rondale Moore, so hoping that he can perform. And then I'm high on Hawkinson this week. I took his player prop on my Twitter at Badgers Bets over 51.5 receiving yards. I think that is extremely low for him this week, and I think he's going for 60 yards and a score.
Do you think you can go a back-to-back player prop tight end where all they need is one catch?
Not with the way Jared Goff throws the ball.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can
I think we're gonna need
Hawk
about 4 receptions to get to.
Yeah, I would prefer those receptions anyway.
Of course,
so.
of course you would. Awesome. Smith, who is your sixth man?
Yeah, so I'll actually go 5th and 6th. It's me and Parker. I think Parker does crack the top 6. I think this is one of those weeks where Ryan has enough of those players that are so volatile that we talk about, like Evans and Gronk. I think this is another week where maybe it's not what we think it'll be, and especially Antonio Brown coming back. And there's also the possibility that they're just well ahead of New England, which I think probably will happen because Mac Jones is not any better than Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson, as we saw last week. There's enough correlation in those bad matchups where I don't think Ryan cracks the top 6 this week.
I just want to say I love how the NFL did its thing, like its number one thing, and just made all the rookie quarterbacks absolutely suck so far this year. I love it.
Each of them has gone up against an incredibly difficult schedule. So God bless the schedule makers.
Okay, fair. Yeah, it's a fair point. It's just like how much hype was there around all the quarterbacks, and even fantasy wise, they're not producing.
Yeah, I mean, each of them is in a bad situation. I mean, that's why they're going earlier in the first round, right? You know, besides the Bears who traded up, but, you know, they might as well have been a high pick.
I'm not saying it's their fault or they're not talented like we thought they were, but it's really funny to see.
So let's actually talk about that real quick. Who's been the least impressive rookie quarterback so far?
All of them. Literally.
That's not a correct answer. I want a specific name.
Listen, Smith. Every single rookie quarterback has been playing like a fucking rookie. Every single one of them has been playing like a rookie. Not one person stands out.
Like indistinguishable.
They all have like roles. Like the only person, maybe Mac Jones, just because he has like a decent team around him. But every rookie quarterback right now has been shit, unless we see Mills go absolutely off against Buffalo.
Which will not happen. But
and then he would be the best one. Then he would be the best one in my opinion, because at this point you really don't have a good rookie quarterback because they're all playing like rookies.
To me, I think it's Lawrence who's been the least impressive. I mean,
is that because of expectations minus reality?
Yeah,
no. I mean, expectations are what they are, but
you would say Justin Fields. Then he had. What do you mean?
I mean, he had the worst game, right?
No. So he has a second worst support group out of the rookies. Zach Wilson, number 1 by far. So
has the worst support group?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he has.
Out of the rookies,
I won't say the best skill. I won't say the best skill players around him, but he has a good offensive line, or at least an offensive line that was heavily invested in.
Who?
heavily invested in.
Don't say that.
Zach
Dude.
Wilson.
Okay,
Oh.
well,
I thought
disagree
you were
with
going
that,
with Justin
but-
Fields. I was like, didn't he just get sacked?
The
Like,
Jets haven't heavily invested in their offensive line.
They really have.
They
I think
did, but it
yeah.
doesn't mean that they're good. I
mean,
mean,
they're
Zach
trying.
Van Rotten or whatever his name is, who
That's why I
is
corrected
criticizing
myself
Zach
and-
Wilson, has been the lowest graded PFF pass blocker in the entire NFL so far.
That's why I
so-
corrected myself and did explicitly say invested in.
Sure,
and
sure.
because
All right.
also take into account the fact that Mekhi Becton got injured.
That's
even
true.
Even
Yeah.
though that's only like one game or maybe even half a game. I forget when he got injured. But the Jets, honestly, I felt like did a good job starting off their offense for Zach Wilson. In the first year, with an offensive line that has, multiple, high draft picks and high paid free agents come in, I think that's exactly what you want to do for your rookie quarterback. Also, I mean, I know that he hasn't done anything, but Elijah Moore was hyped up to be incredible. So you can't say that they didn't get him another weapon on top of, Corey Davis, obviously a very serviceable, if not above average wide receiver. They have invested other picks, even though Denzel Mims kind of sucks or just isn't getting any playing time for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't think you can come out here and say he has the worst supporting cast.
I would say the Patriots are number one in terms of support group. Jaguars number two. I think their running backs, receivers.
I think you're right about New
the
England.
best group, and then the offensive line is not great, but it's better than the Jets. Then it's probably the Bears because their offensive line is just that bad, and then the Jets are a distant fourth because their offensive line is bad, and then outside of Corey
What
Davis,
are you saying? What are you saying?
The Texans have the
Mooney and
worst.
Allen Robinson.
Okay, the
outweigh...
Texans, yeah, but I'm not really counting Davis Mills. for
He's a
one
rookie.
game. What?
He's starting.
What were you saying,
All right,
Derek?
then. Are you saying Allen Robinson and Mooney outweigh the investments that the Jets put into their offensive line and wide receiver group? You're saying the Bears have a
because
better
it's also
supporting cast?
their tight end group is better. They have Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet. They also have better running backs. David Montgomery,
Better
David
defense.
Williams,
Better defense.
better defense. So
Probably same tier coach.
You know what? Honestly, we walked through it pretty extensively, and I
Yeah.
think you might be right. You might be right.
I honestly think Lawrence has been the least impressive because a lot of these, he's had the most turnover caliber plays. I forgot where I saw that stat. And then Zach Wilson actually was, I think, pretty significantly lower than that. Some of these interceptions aren't his fault. I'm not trying to defend Zach Wilson and say he's been good, but I think given the circumstances, it's not as horrible as you think. And just watching that game, besides those two garbage time interceptions, Wilson did look better in that game. He just has nothing around him at this point.
Yeah.
So Fields and Wilson, I'm okay on. Jones, I'm okay on. Lawrence is concerning, though.
I guess we will see. I mean, I think he'll get better as time goes. Obviously, all rookies should eventually develop. Moving on to, I guess, my league median. I did have Leo, but then I think I don't know, I think I was rushing to get this done, and then I just looked at his team before speaking on it. And I changed my answer right away to Chris because Leo's team doesn't look like he'll make it points for median, so I just moved away from it. Moving on to the next one, who will have the most points for? I just said myself because myself, gotta bet on myself. So, Derek?
Wonderful analysis there.
I said myself because I have the best starting lineup, not because I want it or need it or wish it, but
I don't know.
I have the best starting lineup.
I don't know if you do that. Sure.
I think-
Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts would suggest otherwise, my friend.
Okay.
Miles Sanders with 2 rushes.
I'm done, predicting 20-point games from Kyle Pitts until
Good.
it happens.
Good.
But
I'm glad we've gotten past that.
nah, I literally predicted that one time, and the second time I predicted him to go over his projection, he did. So back off.
Wonderful.
Badger, who's your points? Who's your most points?
Yeah, I'm going with Andy this week. About 170, I'm thinking.
Oh, I hate Andy.
It's just
I don't
like
want to
he-
lose. I don't.
Wait, Derek, I have a quick question. Why are you going with the Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts stack over the Baker OBJ stack?
Ooh.
I feel like that is way more valuable.
Yeah.
Read my team name, bro. Come on. This is pity party.
You're not. I don't.
So you're
think
using your.
He's using his little PP to get it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're
His
going to
little pity part.
You're using your heart over your head. That's good to know. Good.
No, I seriously alluded
trade
to that
incoming.
this week.
Trade offer incoming.
No, I seriously alluded to that this week. I'm playing Dan. I'm
Yeah,
not
but you just
scared of
picked
losing.
yourself
Still
out
need
of
to
the
go.
points
You
for.
still need to win the points for to make it worth it.
Let him
though.
be. Let him be cocky. Let him lose. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
If that's how you want to
Smith?
end it. Go ahead. I believe in the connection. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I hope it goes off. I mean, this week should.
I mean, 2 of 3 weeks they had a good connection. They had 10 targets each week,
see.
and then last week was terrible. What am I gonna say?
Best of luck, Derek.
Smith, who's your
Thank
most
you.
points?
I'll take that
It's
pre-lock.
it's Haj.
Again.
Yeah. I've gone with Haj in each matchup prediction. I think I've gone with Haj in each of the points for leaders, and his worst player in his lineup right now might be Robert Woods, which is just absurd as a flex. So yeah,
Or Tyler
I'm taking Haj.
Yeah. All right.
And his
Awesome.
matchups for all of his teams
Yeah,
are
great.
just outstanding.
You're right.
So
So we're all predicting who now we did the most. We're gonna go to least points scored this week. Derek.
Danielson. Yeah,
Dan
it's
again.
gonna be the most versus the least. I'm gonna 70 piece you, Dan, and then I'm gonna come pick
Wow.
up Chris Godwin.
Wow.
whew.
Badger.
Wow.
Yep, I'm going with Dan again.
Again.
As I said last week, I'm just going to put him every week. Poor guy.
Oh,
Feel bad for him.
awesome.
Poor guy. Best of luck,
You
man.
guys are boring me with these boring takes here. We're not gonna go
Smith.
Dan. I'm gonna go Pete.
Wow.
Hopkins is not 100%. Like he is just not. Like you watch that game and he is just not the same player. And we keep talking about how fragile this team is. So Cole Beasley and Robbie Anderson as your, even if they were in your flex, I'd feel gross. Mike Davis and Zach Moss. I like each of these players has a floor that is so freaking low.
Yep.
And I outside of like Jefferson and Hopkins, like I don't really like these matchups. I don't even like it for Anderson because he's like the number 4 option in Carolina. So no, I'm going Pete here.
All right. Well, I'm also going with someone else other than the 3, and I'm going with a hot take here and saying Badger has the least amount of points this week. I just feel that his matchups may be rough. As much as I love DJ Moore's matchup, not really against Baltimore, I just think they'd be maybe throwing, but Dallas defense is kind of nasty. They stepped it up. They have really good schemes. I think they're going to be putting pressure on Sam Darnold. I think we're going to see more of a Jets Sam Darnold than a Carolina Sam Darnold because CMC is gone. So now all they have to worry about is DJ Moore, and you take out that whole team because Robbie Anderson ain't burning Sam Darnold. So I think the Dallas are going to shut down DJ Moore. I don't know what Campbell's going to do, but he's just a throw-in. So I just think Badgers team will be saved by Josh Allen once again, but I'm predicting that he may also have the least amount of points for because Josh Allen just puts up just like what he needs to do and then just kind of relaxes to not put all his energy into Houston. So I'm going to have to say Badger this week. I'm sorry, buddy.
It's fine. I understand.
Moving on to who we think is going to project or who will outperform their projected points, which is kind of important to you guys now listening because if you have these players, they could be starting, or they may be someone that you're questioning on how they're going to perform if you have someone better to start over. So, Derek, do you want to start on who you think is going to outscore their projections?
I would love to. Terry McLaurin, Mr. Scary Terry, playing a pretty dismal defense. Taylor Heineke really loves him, and Taylor Heineke has had ups and downs. Actually, most recently was his pretty much only down game that he's ever started in. But
I said he's a good quarterback.
Heineke I really like, and I think everyone thinks he's fun to watch, but I think he actually has some skill, and paired with Terry, anybody can really throw it to him. So I mean, not too much analysis besides playing a bad defense and trying to bounce back after a poor week. I think Terry breaks that number. Nice. And if he doesn't, I'll actually, be a little bit worried that
you'll lose.
That Dan could creep up on me. But
oh God,
if as long as Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts have that connection, we're good.
Badger, who do you think is out projecting? I feel like this is going to be someone that you said last.
Yeah, I'm going back to the well. Said it a couple weeks ago. I'm going with Jamanta Williams. His snap share has gone down the past couple of weeks, which is a bit concerning, and he only averaged 2.4 yards on the ground. But I think we're going to see him get incorporated a bit more this week. Last week, touchdown really saved him. But he did get more targets out of the backfield, so hopefully that is sustainable. And he can average closer to about 3.2 yards on the ground this week. So I think he's going to get over 9.6 points.
Badger, I actually want to make a counter argument that the lower usage was better if you're a Williams owner, because those were not close games and Melvin Gordon was in that game more. So I think that's actually a good thing for you.
Great observation, Smith. I like that.
Yeah.
Mileage. I just wanted to make Vinny laugh.
Yeah, for Derrick Henry. Yeah, it will come back at some point. I know it will. Rondale Moore, 2 touchdowns. That's my guy this week, and
2.
I guess my hot take in a way.
Is that a hot
it's
take?
not. It is a hot take. Yeah, I mean, I think we keep saying, DeAndre Hopkins less than 100% being covered by Jalen Ramsey. Probably not going to be the outcome that Pete wants. And then you factor in Christian Kirk, who's also going to be covered. And that leaves Rondale Moore, really, as the guy who might benefit the most alongside Chase Edmonds. So we saw what he can do with the ball in his hands. He's one of the best, yards after catch receivers in the game right now. So
yeah, he's one of the
I
better,
think that's
top 3 rookie.
Yeah. And, on a high-powered offense, 2 touchdowns, super explosive player is always a possibility. So that's my guy.
I like to take. I'm going with 2 guys here. I'm going with Derrick Henry once again. Said him last week, and did I say it last week? Is last week? No, 2 weeks ago. Whenever he scored 40-something points, whatever that was. And I'm gonna break it back again because I think Julio Jones may not play. Even if he does play, I think this game is going to be closer than some may expect, and Derrick Henry's going to need to smash the ball, probably have another 25 touches, and then probably 4 catches. So I could see him easily breaking 19.5 points. And I also have Allen Robinson, who I believe will actually have a decent game this week against a Detroit defense, and he will have more than 15.6 points. I'm very hopeful, and I need to see Allen Robinson break that projection so that people can just start tweeting, "Oh my God, he's not dead."
This is the last.
You need the tweet affirmation.
I'll do this for you live on air. This is the last week I start Allen Robinson in my redraft league.
Me too.
Before I bench him, I'm benching him in week 5 if he doesn't score 12 points.
What is his match? It depends on his matchups, but I will most likely be benching him. Maybe.
You could just trade
I
him.
mean,
I'm not trading him because he'll be good next year when he leaves. When he actually goes to a team that wants him, like the Chiefs. No, I'm kidding. They won't go to Chiefs.
oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
We want super teams. Make it the NBA.
Bills.
I will take the Bills.
I'll take it.
Um,
Now Allen Robinson's not a bum and he's amazing.
but those are the two that I'm gonna hot take.
feel it coming.
If any, we have like 2 hot takes. If you guys want
I
to
have
wrap
a
it
take.
up, if you guys want to wrap up some hot takes real quick, just so the viewers can actually stop. people
Derek
that
has
they
a hot
think.
take it in right
So
down.
Derek, what
Fantastic.
is your
Go
hot
for it.
take?
I mean, I might get roasted for calling this a hot take, but I'm so it's a prediction on points, but it's a parlay. I'm
Parlay.
taking 2 players, and that is Stephon Diggs and Miles Sanders to combine for over 35 points. It's not a crazy prediction, but with Miles Sanders being terrible so far this year and me being really confident in Diggs, I'm going to stake my flag and say that combined 35 points you can count on for Miles Sanders and Stephon Diggs.
I'm pretty sure they're projected for like 32 points between the two of them. So that's like the furthest thing from a hot take I've ever seen.
I think
They're
I
actually
think I meant to say
projected. They're actually.
I think I meant to say
projected
40 points.
They're
You're
actually
right.
projected
You're right.
almost 35 points.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's not
all right. Get off
Say
my back.
50 points.
I
Say
meant to
50
say
points.
40 points.
Say
The
50
numbers
points.
were off.
Say
in
50.
my
Say
head.
50. That's
Say
a hot.
50,
Now, that's a
then
hot
make it a
take.
hot take.
50's a hot take.
No, I want
There
to be
you go.
right. I want to be right.
It's a hot take.
Oh,
All
you're
right,
not supposed to
whatever.
be right on hot takes.
Whatever. Lost cause. All right.
Trying to help
for
our
me,
viewers.
Joe Mixon is the RB1 this week. That's my hot take. That's a hot. Now, dang it, that's a hot take. Take notes, Derek.
That is a hot take.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And it really could
It's
happen.
gonna be so wrong, but
It could
yeah,
happen. Absolutely
Because
happen.
Derrick Henry's going to be the RB1.
it's gonna be so wrong.
Derrick Henry's about to touch.
Hot
Derrick
take,
Henry's
Derek.
about to touch
That's
the ball
the
30
whole
times.
point.
I know. Badger, hot take.
All right, I'm gonna call mine a right take then.
This is the hot take.
This is a hot take. Get out of here, then.
This is a
if
hot
you're gonna
take, bro.
bring that BS, then get out of here.
Give
Come
me a
on.
hot take. Give me a hot take, Badger. Hot
Give me
take.
something that you think you're gonna is probably wrong, but could happen.
Give me a
That's a
hot
hot
take.
Yeah, it's something that's probably wrong is Miles Sanders actually being relevant. But anyways,
That's
my
why I
hot,
think it's not ridiculous to put in the hot take section. But anyway,
my hot take, and this is a hopeful hot take, Paris Campbell, top 15 wide receiver this week.
Yes. I'd love to
Um,
see that. He's so good.
So, I feel like a lot of you guys, and I'm just gonna just make up a hot take right now. You guys are all going over. I'm gonna do someone that's gonna underperform,
Okay.
and I'm still trying to figure out who that will be as we speak because I don't know.
Josh
who-
Allen, because I picked Badger's team to score the least
You
amount.
know what? Maybe. No. I would say Tom Brady, but he has too much heart in that game. I'll make a hot take, and that hot take, if it really is a hot take at this point, it might actually just be common sense. Kareem Hunt is going to outscore Nick Chubb once again, and is going to probably
Alright.
control that backfield.
I thought of this before.
So I'm under
This is-
on Nick Chubb. Go ahead.
This is for you, Smith.
Jesus.
The Patriots beat the Bucks on Sunday Night Football.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
Why would that be for me?
The New England Patriots beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football.
It can't.
Why is that for me?
It's a hot, spicy take. Oh my god, this is so cute, but I don't think it will happen. I thought that was the fucking point.
You're right. That is the point. Your hot takes
You're
are supposed to
right.
lose, and
I
that
mean,
one's
I have
gonna
a
lose.
right take and a hot
the
take.
point that I got
I
confused
mean-
is that you should just be doing this.
You
for
gotta
yourself.
listen. You gotta listen here.
You shouldn't be doing hot takes just for me.
Listen.
You should feel what you're convicted to believe in. So shame on you for making it about me instead of you. So shame on you.
Hey, listen to me. We all know Tom Brady created Bill Belichick. So without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick is actually the worst coach of all time.
Okay.
So-
That's
a hot take.
So Tom Brady is going to throw for 428 yards. He's going to hit 4 touchdowns, 2 to Gronk, 1 to Chris Godwin, and he's going to run one in himself.
QB sneak.
And no, it's going to be a 5-yard rush. And Bill Belichick is not going to shake Tom Brady's hand. He's going to kiss him on the lips.
I was gonna say that, like, before you said that part, I was gonna say, like, that's not a hot take.
He's going to kiss him on the lips like this.
Like he did with his children.
What do you mean? They kissed when they win the Super Bowl. I don't think you know.
No, I mean Tom Brady has a tendency to kiss people on the lips. So
I'm just going crazy now because it's the end of the stream and
Specifically men.
Specifically men, yes. I actually have not seen him kiss his wife.
his wife kisses.
All right,
other
we
men.
should just end it.
What?
Just end it.
Okay, episode
falling off so
14
quickly.
for week 14. That is the hot takes. That is the steam. We are going to be going crazy this week. Make sure to go to PnCDynasty.com. Go to matchups so you can actually watch our matchups live, because I know I'm going to be doing that because I'm trying to win. And if you want to see who we're starting and who we're playing, go look there, because that may help you decide who you're going to start. Also, go to PnC_Dynasty for our Twitter and everything else, because we're ready to help you win your championships and win each week one at a time. So we're going to end it here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for all the questions. And we'll see you next week on Tuesday to go over everything else. Bye-bye.